What's going on, everybody? Scott Bogman here for BettingPros to give you my favorite picks and props for Week 9 of the college football season. If you guys are looking to up your game in sports betting, join our exclusive sports betting Discord community at bettingpros.com/chat. Not only can you connect with expert handicappers who provide free picks for the NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, player props, live betting, and more, but now you can also participate in our weekly community picks. Cast your vote and see how your picks stack up against the experts and track your success. All right, let's check out how we did last week. It was a 5-6 week. We did hit the big bet of the week, though. Not because we were right about the process. We did get the pick right, though, in Missouri, double overtime, beating Auburn there. But South Carolina under 16.5 versus Oklahoma, easy. 7 points there. Washington team total over 22.5. They didn't move the ball against Michigan at all. I was completely wrong on that one. LSU at Vandy, I had the under 49.5. LSU's defense did not play up to snuff. This game was 31-24. Vandy's really didn't either, but they came away with the win. Texas Tech minus 7.5 at Arizona State. No Baron Morton. Proved to be too much for Texas Tech. They did not win that game. 26-22 win for the Sun Devils. We were half right, half wrong. Tennessee at Alabama. Got the team total over 35.5. Did not get the game over because just didn't get enough points from Tennessee. Wisconsin team total under 7.5 versus Ohio State. Easy sailed there. No points for Wisconsin again. And this week you can only bet it at minus 205 for under 7.5. So we're going to skip that one this week, even though it probably will pay again. Missouri minus 1.5. Obviously, we got that one in double overtime. Memphis minus 21.5 at UAB. I was completely wrong on that one. They were upset by UAB. They did get the dead cat bounce and won that game going away. Mississippi State at Florida under 50.5. We did get that one 23-21. But Virginia could not score against Washington State, so we're going to use that to our advantage this week. The props were miserable this week. This is my worst prop week, 3-7. So only one game over 500 on the props, one game under 500 on the picks. So we are exactly 500 on the season. We did get the touchdown for Haynes King. Obviously, Cameron Dickey for Texas Tech did not get a score. Neither did Jamari Taylor against Washington State. Chandler Morris didn't pass for 1.5 touchdowns. Mason Hanchel from Pitt didn't throw a touchdown against Syracuse either. But we did get Lenore Sellers under. Ahmad Hardy over 86.5 rushing yards did not happen. We got the Zachariah Branch over. Casey Concepcion missed by one catch, and Denzel Boston missed by one catch as well. So 3-7, not a great week for the props. But let's get to the bets for this week, week 9. We're going to start out Ole Miss plus 5.5 at Oklahoma. The more I look at this game, I kind of like the over as well. But the more I look at this game, the more I like Ole Miss catching points. I think if Oklahoma wins, they should be a 3-point favorite in this game. Their defense has played great. I just don't know if their defense is enough to stop Ole Miss. Ole Miss is 16th in scoring this year. And some of the opponents that Oklahoma has played, they are a very good defensive team, but they haven't played an elite level offense, really. I think this is going to be their first huge test against a very good offense in the SEC. Maybe they pass, but I don't know that they beat Ole Miss by 5.5. So if we're catching points on Ole Miss, even on the road, we're going to take that. We're also going to take points BYU plus 2.5 at Iowa State. Now, look, this is a huge fade the public point that we're doing here, right? BYU is coming off an emotional win against Utah, and their post-game win expectancy was bad in that game. They should not have won that game. Utah should have won. But Iowa State traditionally, Matt Campbell has been great coming off a bye week, right? I just don't think that this team is good enough to match what BYU has done. Now, BYU is overperforming. The record is probably better than what they actually are at 7-0. But I just don't believe in Iowa State this year. And they're real rough at stopping the run. BYU runs at a 60% clip. I believe Iowa State is 133 out of 136 teams in tackle grade as well. So if you're going to be a physical running team like BYU is, and potentially Iowa State could be missing their best interior defensive lineman, the big citrus, Tom Orange. might be out of this game. He is questionable. Upgraded from doubtful, but still looking like he may not be in this game. I just think that BYU is going to run all over Iowa State, and I think they can win this game. This is not a look-ahead spot. They're going to the bye week after this. So big emotional win. You got to keep this undefeated season going if you're BYU. So I think they can and will beat Iowa State on the road. So I don't mind a money line sprinkle, but if you're catching points, I'll go ahead and take them. We're going to double down on South Carolina team total under 16.5. Look, they are at home in this game. Maybe they perform a little better, but this offense is just broken right now. The offensive line cannot protect Lenore Sellers. He's doing everything himself. The one drive that they scored on against Oklahoma, and I mentioned this twice already this week, so apologies, but it howls to me in my mind how bad this South Carolina offense has been. It was a shank punt by Oklahoma that put them at the OU 47, right? Then they converted on a fourth. They got a penalty to first and goal, and then they had to score the touchdown on fourth down. They had a goal line drive before that, went for it on fourth, and didn't make it. So Lenore Sellers is doing everything he possibly can, right? I still think he's a very good quarterback. The offensive line has been real rough. He has no Mississippis to get that ball out. Alabama doesn't even rush the passer that well, but they have gotten incrementally better recently at rushing the passer, and I think they're going to have a good game here. I think this is Alabama going away. So more on that later, but right now, South Carolina team total under 16.5. We're just going to double down on that one. We're going to take the Bearcats 2 times here, really just once, but Cincinnati minus 3.5 versus Baylor. We're going to go over 66.5 in this game, though. Baylor's offense, I mean, they will just pass to get back in this game. It slows the clock down. Both these teams play at a top 25 pace. Baylor is 4th in pace. I believe Cincinnati is 23 in pace. So very, very quick-moving offenses here. And I think there's just going to be a lot of points. And this is one of the few games that doesn't have a massive amount of weather in it. So Cincinnati minus 3.5 versus Baylor. I just think they're a much better team than Baylor. They're more complete. And over 66.5. I think we get this one. Auburn at Arkansas State over 56.5. We are going to wait and see what the weather report is like Saturday morning, because right now it's borderline. It could be really good for us if there is rain and wind at less than 10, but the wind is kind of fluctuating right now. But this total is 56.5. Arkansas has been putting points on everybody, and they can't stop anybody. And I think we're going to see more of that in this game. We've already had their head coach fired. Sam Pittman is gone. So I just think Arkansas, Bobby Petrino knows how to scheme up an offense and score some points, but they have not been stopping anyone. I think it's a really good chance for Auburn to get back on track on offense, right? Kind of see them pulling around against Missouri. Couldn't quite do it. Jackson Arnold has been rough, but I really do think he can beat this Arkansas defense, and I think he's going to. So 56.5 would be a lower total in an Arkansas game this season, and I think we're going to get that. Toledo at Washington State. I told you, look, we can learn our lesson from last week when we took Virginia and the over. This one is in Pullman, Washington, and there's going to be a lot of weather in this. This one has lots of rain. I believe it's 100% chance of rain and lots of wind. The weather report I looked at today said 17.5 mile per hour sustained winds in this game. We know that 15 starts affecting passes and kicks and punts and things like that. So I really like the under in this game. Washington State's defense has been playing great. Toledo is a very good MAC school, but they do have to travel all the way across the country. So I just don't think they're going to be clicking on all cylinders on offense, specifically in that wind and rain. So under 46.5 in that one. And the last pick, we're going to do Tennessee team total over 31.5 at Kentucky. I understand Kentucky looked real good on defense last week, and Tennessee didn't look great against Alabama, but I think this is a completely different situation. Joey Aguilar has been great this year. They have a lot of weapons. Kentucky really schemed against Texas well, but we've seen this Kentucky team under Stoops go way up, way down. They are a Jekyll and Hyde team in terms of effort every single week, and, that was a really tough loss in overtime. They should have won that game against my Longhorns. They didn't. They deserved to win, but that's one of those that might be the backbreaker on the season. So rough loss, I think, just leads to less effort for Kentucky. I'd be impressed if they keep Tennessee under 31.5. I just don't think it's going to happen. Before we get to the props here, let me tell you guys to track your bets, stay accountable, and level up by downloading the BettingPros app. With Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major sportsbook in one spot. You can easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and parlays. Create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. Get a 7-day free trial of BettingPros Premium by using the code JUICE, JUICE, and activating your trial on the upgrade screen. All right, got to do better on these props. I think we're going to. We're going to start with touchdowns, and I lowered my prop calls this week a little bit. We're going to go 2 touchdown calls. We're going to stick with Haynes King. I told y'all, we're riding this one until the wheels fall off. It's one of the few that I got. We're pairing it with whatever other prop we want, right? Because it's just almost a guarantee. You have 2 that you like, throw this one as a third. You have 1 that you like, throw this one on top of it to double it up, right? Just to get you a little bit better odds. That is one that is just hit every week. I think it's just going to continue. And Louisville wide receiver Chris Bell versus Boston College. 6 touchdowns in his last 5 games, 4 in the last 2. Boston College defense is not great. Louisville's passing offense has been good. I think Chris Bell can score in this game. We have 3 quarterback props. The first one is Illinois quarterback Luke Altmeyer over 229.5 passing yards at Washington. There will be rain, not as much wind in this game as there will be in Pullman. And Luke Altmeyer has passed this in 3 straight games. Eckhouse, Kaliak-Manis, and Underwood all have done this against Washington. And we know that Luke Altmeyer underperforms against top defenses. Washington is a good defense. I would not call them a top defense. So I think Luke Altmeyer is a pretty good quarterback. I don't think he's great. Obviously, he has had issues against the top-tier competition. I just don't know that Washington's top-tier competition this year. They're very good competition, just like Luke Altmeyer is a very good quarterback and not a great one. So I think 229.5 passing yards, Luke Altmeyer can sail over that one. We're going to go Tennessee quarterback Joey Aguilar over 1.5 passing touchdowns against Kentucky. He's averaging over 2 per game, so I think this one can hit. We already talked about this Tennessee game. Obviously, I'm on the Vols here. I think Kentucky overperformed last week. I think they will underperform after a tough loss this week. Let's go to Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson over 1.5 passing touchdowns at South Carolina. He's hit this in every game. Bama passes at a 60% rate, and Diego Pavia and Nussmeier have hit this against South Carolina. I think Ty Simpson is better than both those quarterbacks in terms of passing the ball, and Alabama passes at a higher rate. These weapons for Bama are also incredible. So I really like that one. BYU running back L.J. Martin over 99.5 rushing yards at Iowa State. He's hit this in 5 of 7 so far. And we mentioned Big Citrus may not be in this game. This is a physical, downhill, 60% rushing offense, and Iowa State has been real bad at making tackles. L.J. Martin is 7th in rushing yards this season, and I think he's just going to continue that as BYU rolls over Iowa State. And the last prop, we're going to go Michigan State wide receiver Nick Marsh over 59.5 receiving yards versus Michigan. Denzel Boston, Mekhi Lemon, Vinny Anthony, Ja'Cory Barney, Deion Burks, and Dorian Thomas. 6 wide receivers have passed this against Michigan. Michigan State should be losing in this game and playing catch up and comeback. And in the last 2 games, our guy Nick Marsh has had 24 targets, 14 receptions, and 141 yards. So I think he can pass 60 in this game. All right, to end it out, we got a new segment. It is the Hard Rock Bet of the Week, presented by Hard Rock Bet. Here is my favorite. Alabama minus 11 at South Carolina. We are going to take this one. This is lowered a little bit. South Carolina plays Alabama hard, and I do expect their best effort of the season, right? And this is what happens when you're Alabama. When you're one of the top teams in the country, you come into any game, specifically road games, with a target on your back. You want to get the best effort. Teams are going to get up. The crowd's going to get up. I just do not think that this version of South Carolina is enough to compete with Alabama. I lost money on this bet last year, right? So if you don't want to follow me on it, I understand it, but I've watched South Carolina closely the last couple weeks. This line is really, really tough to watch right now. The offense is sputtering. They can't get anything going. And when Alabama gets this lead on them, You get up by 2 scores, you get up by 3 scores, and now Lenore Sellers have to pass. You put that weak offensive line in a really, really bad position to protect Lenore Sellers. So I wanted to go the under on Lenore Sellers passing yards again, but it was just set too low. It was like 165 or something. So we're not going to go that low, even though he may not get that. But they should be passing a lot in this game late. I just didn't want to do that one. But I think Alabama wins this one going away. When you put Sellers in a bad spot, I think turnovers are going to start happening. I just think it's going to look real ugly for South Carolina this week. So we're on Bama. We're on the South Carolina team total under 16.5. So we just do not like South Carolina right now. Before I go to them, I want to remind you guys that today's show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, the Hard Rock Bet. Check out the Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app this weekend, major sports weekend with the NBA back, week 8 of football, college, baseball, and hockey. Everything is going right now. It's just so great. This is our last show of the week before Sunday. So if you're looking for more insights on week 8, you can check out the Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub right there in the app. Cleveland has lost 15 in a row as underdogs against the AFC East. McCaffrey is on a 9-game October touchdown streak. Kansas City are on a 14-game winning streak as home favorites. You can check out all of these and more right there on the Hard Rock Bet Status Hub. If you still haven't placed your first bet on Hard Rock Bet, it's not too late. Place your first $5 bet, and if it wins, you'll score $150 in bonus bets on top of your payout. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit today. To review the picks, obviously, we're going Alabama minus 11 and South Carolina team total under 16.5. Ole Miss plus 5.5 at Oklahoma. BYU plus 2.5 at Iowa State. We're going Cincy minus 3.5 plus the over 66.5 versus Baylor. Auburn at Arkansas over 56.5. We are going to wait for the wind and weather report on Saturday morning to place that bet. Toledo at Washington State under 46.5. Tennessee team total over 31.5. The props, 2 touchdown props. Haynes King for Georgia Tech. Chris Bell for Louisville. We've got the over 229.5 passing yards for Luke Altmeyer at Washington. Joey Aguilar over 1.5 passing touchdowns at Kentucky. Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson over 1.5 passing touchdowns at South Carolina. BYU running back LJ Martin over 99.5 at Iowa State. And Michigan State wide receiver Nick Marsh over 59.5. That is it for me. Appreciate all you guys listening this entire season and watching, and I will see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.